I had to turn off the air conditioner. Okay. Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Thursday, August 4th, 2016. I'm your host, Alexander Coffey. Today joined by one Donald Terrio.
I don't even think this thing can explain what the hell we saw on Monday.
Where did you get that from?
GameStop or EB Games, I guess.
But that's all this month.
Yeah, through the 24th.
Oh, so if I go to a GameStop, I can get myself an Arceus. Is it work? The official pronunciation's Arceus, right?
So I've been saying it.
Yeah.
I do the soft C, but I'm weird like that.
You guys ever see that clip of House when like House straight up does an Arceus shout out like in the middle of just a random episode of the show?
Really?
Yeah, no, actually look up like House like Pokemon.
Okay.
And he makes a god joke, but he does it through Arceus, and it's like this weird specific Pokemon reference, and you can find it on YouTube. Just Google House Arceus. I'm gonna make sure we can find it right now. But that's literally it. I didn't make that up. Okay, and the other person who you're hearing is Zachary Miller. Hello, Zach.
Hello, Alex.
How are you doing today, Zachary?
Good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. I was just telling Donald I turn 22 in 3 hours. I'm really excited.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know. It's
22, big double digits.
big double digits. The first year that doesn't matter.
That's true too.
No, you're still in that demographic they always shoot for. You only have to worry about it when you turn 35.
True.
But like my birthday like only matters to like 6 people now.
Yeah.
That's the difference between 21 and 22. When you're 21, like 25 people care, and now about like 8 people care. Like you guys like will politely say happy birthday, whatever, but like it's like it cuts to about a third of what it was before, which is okay. Because once you have your 21st birthday, like you've seen you've had all the exciting firsts happen to you by that point.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about our show today. Our big story is going to be the new Pokemon Sun and Moon stuff. Of course, the Alolan Pokemon forms. We also have Zach wants to talk about some Shantae. We can talk about those NX rumors a teensy tiny bit in the middle of the show. And then we have a super brief what we've been playing. I played a few hours of TMS, and Zach played the Style Savvy demo that came out today. Let's start by talking about Pokemon. I can hear my voice through one of your computers. See if you can turn it down a little bit. So, the latest trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon came out August 1st. Revealed a lot of new Pokemon and features in the game. The biggest thing was the Alola forms, which are basically, instead of Mega Evolutions, which are like a next step, this is more like a lateral move, where it's new variations of classic Pokemon. So it's like, because it's a different location in the world, they're thinking that like the animals develop differently. Like I feel like some animals would. Does that sound right, Zach?
Yes, the island effect.
So that's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about some of these Pokemon. The most popular, the one where plenty Maymays are coming out about it is Alolan Exeggutor, which is crazy because it basically turns into like a long-necked palm tree, and then it gets a tail, and it gets this new, smaller body, and hey, it's a grass dragon type, despite having no dragon features whatsoever. I think I love this Pokemon for the same reason I loved Sock when I first saw it in Pokemon Black and White, for the fact that it looks so un-Pokemon-like and like bizarre. And I think that's the reason why I want to train it. They also actually know. What do you guys think of this Exeggutor before I talk about the other guys?
I'm kind of curious. I mean, it doesn't seem like they specifically showed off prior evolutions for the other 2 Pokemon that are in this category. So it's kind of weird that Exeggutor doesn't have anything with this. But Exeggutor, Grass Dragon's a decent type for it. Kills a couple of its weaknesses. That'll be fun to play around with for a bit. But it's at the end of the day, it's still Exeggutor. Unless they really change the stats around, it's still probably going to die in 2 hits to everything.
So
Yeah.
my question on this is, does Exeggutor turn into this thing, or does Execute turn into Dragon Exeggutor?
My guess is all executes evolve into executors on this island, and if you want another executor, you got to get it from another game.
Interesting. So this will
That's
have
my guess.
that would be cool.
Yeah. Or I'm guessing it won't be like a form thing where it's like you have to touch a rock and then you can evolve Eevee into Leafeon or whatever. Like I bet this is going to be a total regional thing. The other ones are what's it called? We got Vulpix and Ninetales, which are now Ice Foxes, and then you got Sandshrew and Sandslash, which are now Ice Pokemon, but they didn't change their name to Ice Shrew and like Ice Slash, so it doesn't necessarily make sense, especially because the typing isn't ground anymore. It's Ice and Steel.
Especially since this is a tropical island.
You're right. And well, no, there's an ice island. One of the islands is an ice
okay.
one.
Okay.
I mean, once you get into the higher elevations, snow is still going to fall. It's just as you get further down that you start seeing all the ice melt.
I gotcha.
But it's kind of crazy that we have a Pokemon with sand in its name, even in Japan, and now it doesn't have a ground type. In fact, it's weak to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of silly. I do think it's a great addition to the game, though. Not necessarily these specific Pokemon, because I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that Sandshrew design, but I love the idea of this. I love the idea of them sort of stretching out Pokemon a little bit, and they make Pokemon feel more global and like realistic almost. When you do like, okay, now we're in a region with a vastly different landmass than previous regions. What if we had the Pokemon you know and love like almost reflect that change? And I don't know if I'm a fan of the design, but the idea is great.
Yeah, and there's been some rumored leaks of a whole bunch of the other ones. I think the 2 craziest ones that that were floated out were Fighting type Alakazam and Water type Growlithe.
I love a water type Growlithe.
We do not need more water types. I'm sorry.
No.
That thing is like 20% of Pokemon as it is, and I know water is 2/3 of the Earth, so that makes sense, but we have enough water types. I think I'm good.
Right. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is the Island Challenge. And I don't know if this is the structure of the game or if this is a side thing, but there's a special island challenge where you face up against trial captains who specialize in certain types of Pokemon. Basically, each island has like their mini boss. You beat the mini boss, and then you fight this special Pokemon called the Totem Pokemon, which is just a regular Pokemon, but it's you remember? Do you ever see Goku like in that form before he turned Super Saiyan? How he's just sort of like glowing and he's like stronger.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where basically it's the same Pokemon but it's bigger and it's glowing. And if you beat that, there are like the bosses of the island which you got to beat too. It's a very like weird structure, but it seems like there's a mini boss and a big boss. And there's also like these totem Pokemon that also act as guardians of the island. And it seems like there's 4, like basically 8 total bosses and then 4 totem Pokemon. Does that make sense, Donald? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it actually is. I believe it was Cap Bailey from US Gamer that pointed this out on Twitter this week. That's basically the Orange Islands. Like that is. Because you're not just battling, like there's probably going to be like a memory game or a rhythm game of some kind, and in the Orange Islands in the anime, this is the only league that Ash won pending X and Y, but basically they had to do alternate things instead of just battling to get the prizes. So very weird that it would take them 17 years to go back to the structure, but if this could be if this is the structure of the game and they're doing away with the gyms, this is probably going to be an even bigger departure than Gen 5 was, where you still had the gym structure, but the end game, instead of beating the Elite Four and the champion, was you beat the Elite Four, then you got to go beat Team Plasma one last time.
Right. You don't actually. It's almost like optional to beat the champion in Black and White.
Yeah, because
Sure.
he's like the level he's level 75 or something, and it's a post game fight.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know if this is the gym structure or if this is not the gym structure yet.
That same leak that mentioned the alternate forms of Pokemon also mentioned that you were going to have to sort of build up the gym structure. So it sounds like there may not be gyms in this game. We don't know yet, though. We'll have to wait probably. Well, there's a trailer next week, around this time next week. So who knows?
Oh,
They might
they
blab it then.
announced that more info's coming next week.
Yeah, I think it's like August 12th, 10 o'clock in the morning Japan time. So that's about 8:30. It's about 8 o'clock our time, Eastern.
I love the sound of it. I think that also like having this simplified structure, which it just sounds more complicated, but I think it'll actually ultimately be more simple in the long run, will fit into the Pokemon strategy or what someone said in an interview, which is basically like we want to make it so anyone can beat the Elite Four. It seems like they're making the path a little simpler to get there.
Yeah,
Uh,
at the very least, they're giving it a bit more variety than go here, beat trainer of type, win badge, move on.
Yeah.
mm. Okay, we got some questions in the chat. Hey, Nintendo World Report TV, what new Pokemon type do you want to see it happening on Sun and Moon, or in the future Gen games, just like Gen 2 introduced Dark and Steel and 6 introduced Fairy? Matthew Kelly's basically asking, what new type ideas do we have? I think Sound and Wood are the obvious two.
I think the changes that they would make from doing new types, I can't really see anything that isn't already covered by one of the existing types unless they're going to go straight for light. But psychic is supposed to be that anyway, so
Right.
I
The only thing they need really, the only like weird thing they could add is something for normal to be strong against.
Oh, that would be nice, actually.
I actually like people were like, oh, that's not necessary, but I actually think, especially since there's so much stuff that can be super effective against normal or is affecting against normal, I think they should just make normal another type at this point and just
yeah.
make it super effective against something.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep calling it normal, because it encompasses such a huge range of Pokemon.
Mm,
Although they've taken quite a few normals out for Fairy now.
right.
Yeah. But generally, your normal types are like the closest thing to existing animals that there are. Like you've
That's
got
true.
toros, you got your bears,
Normals are the boring ones that you don't bring unless they're HM slaves.
Yeah. So, what are the closest Pokemon to real life animals? Because I think the Lillipup line might be it.
Yeah,
Lillipup, Miltank, and toros for cows and bulls.
good. The Linoon and the ferret Pokemon.
Mm.
Zigzagoon?
Huh? Yeah, Zigzagoon. There's the Timon Pokemon from Timon and Pumbaa from Lion King, whatever the heck that's
Are
called.
you?
Meerkat, the Meerkat.
Warthog?
Sure.
Yeah, and Patrat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really, all the Gen 1, for the most part, the Gen 1 Pokemon look pretty similar to real-life animals.
Yeah, like Coughing and Ditto.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and
And,
Voltorb
and Jinx.
and Lapras.
Right.
We know
Lapras is a big plesiosaur with a shell.
let me add, Zach, at the risk of sounding absolutely dumb, because I don't know dinosaurs, and I don't know what's alive and what's not, other than I assume most of them are dead. Are plesiosaurs extinct?
Yes. They've been
Okay,
extinct for a really long
no,
time.
no. I thought so. It
Yeah.
just seemed like one of those that could have been on the line. Like I would have believed you either
Ah.
way.
Well, there is no Nessie, so yeah, they're extinct.
You're positive?
Absolutely positive.
Donald,
Yeah.
this is more important. I'm just kidding. We have other stuff to talk about. There are some new Pokemon. Or Choreo has 4 different forms, which are all differently typed: Fire Flying, Electric Flying, Psychic Flying, and Ghost Flying. And it has different names for each of them, which Cerebi does not have listed right now.
Okay, this is what I don't like about forums. Just call them different friggin' Pokemon.
I think evolution implies a little more. Actually, unless you mean like the Bell. Oh, it's Baye style.
I
It's
haven't seen
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Baye
I know
style
which ones
Pom
you're talking about.
Pom,
That bird.
How, and Sensu.
Yeah,
Sensu
because I
goes
think
House, yeah, and so on.
because I
Yeah.
think these birds are supposed to be actually the Galapagos birds. Like
Mm.
they one per
Okay,
island.
that kind of makes sense. But again, just all right, fine.
The
Just four
animations.
different Pokemon in a row.
I'm looking at like these animations like up close. I think Game Freak's actually going more all out on the actual battle animations this gen. Like it
That'd be
looks like it at
nice.
least. Donald, have you noticed like a slight increase in like the quality of animation on a lot of these Pokemon?
Yeah, I think now that they've had a couple of games to refine the engine from X and Y, well, I'm pretty sure these because these models look a little they have a little bit more movement to them, and they've managed to cram the trainers into the battle scenes as well.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's cool.
There's a Minior, which looks like a coughing kind of.
Yeah, it's
It's
like it's sort of like a meteor, except its ability is once and it's very tanky, but once it falls below half health, it basically goes all out offense. It's sort of like a inverted Archon or
Right.
Archeops.
It breaks its shell and like has like four different colored forms, but there's no specific difference between much of the cores.
I suspect those differences are going to be cosmetic, but it'll probably again one per island.
Okay. The Donald Trump looking mongoose turns into a Pokemon called Gumshoes. Young Goose turns into Gumshoes. Normal type, which is, by the way, a great name for a Pokemon, and it looks ridiculous. Let me see. Who else do we have? Because I'm literally scanning the trailer. There are some new Pokemons. There's Fomantis and Lurantis, which look fine. Yeah, go ahead, Donald.
That Solar Blade attack that they pull out looks amazing.
Mm.
It's like you're slicing them in half with the power of the sun.
That does look pretty cool. Mudbray evolves into Reggae Horse. Let's see. What's its name again?
Mudsdale.
Mudsdale. Right. Mudbray evolves into Reggae Horse, and then let's see. You can ride Pokemon again, except this time instead of X and Y, how it looked like it was sort of designated to like two or three areas. Riding seems like it's going to be a much bigger feature this time around, especially since I think it's going to be the story justification for getting from one island to another island to another island to another island.
Oh, it will have to be. Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
so it's a lot like Soaring replaced Fly in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
And Sharpedo. Was that a different Sharpedo form, or did it just have like a mount?
I think it had a mount, although Sharpedo can go Mega. We know that. So
Right. Sharpedo's Mega looks like crap. Also, Sophocles is a great name for a trial captain. There isn't like they don't take much advantage of Grecian culture outside of Pseudopolis City, which is a lot of taking advantage of Grecian culture.
Holy crap! Mega Sharpedo looks awful. My God.
The unfortunate truth about Mega Evolutions, which I really hate to admit because there are a few I like, and I don't
Most
want
of
to
them
be
look shitty.
I don't want to be the grumpy guy who's like new old Pokemon, but a lot of Mega Evolutions look kind of clumsy.
Wow, look at Mega Camerupt. Good God.
Those are two of the worst ones from the last game.
Oh my Lord.
But there are also some that I really like that no one else likes. Like, I like Mega Aerodactyl a lot.
I like Mega Tyranitar.
And my favorite design, which is from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't know if you can see my my little Mega Shiny Rayquaza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see that? I can't.
I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got that at the Pokemon Worlds, but you can get that at like the Pokemon Center store. It was like $35, but it's but I like the Chinese dragon design of him. Anyways, other stuff that happened. There is Z attacks, which each type has its own super attack. You can use one Z move, one super attack per battle, and you use Z crystals to It's the same type as a Z crystal. So you learn moves by holding Z crystals, and you use moves with those Z crystals, right, Donald?
Yeah, basically if you know an attack of that element, it's not clear if it has to be a damaging one. You can use the Z crystal for that type to do a superpowered attack with it.
Mm.
And the stupid thing is they're actually selling a real bracelet for this that is somehow going to connect to the 3DS and Sun and Moon, and is actually going to provide force feedback when you use these attacks.
Unsold yokai watches.
Which is the ridiculous thing about that is that it costs $30 and does nothing practical for you. They're just hoping it's going to be a cool toy for the kids who play this game, because it feels like this game more than ever. I think Pokemon has the same target audience, but I also feel like each individual game goes after different audiences. I think Gen 5 was more after the older Pokemon fans. I think Gen 6 was for everyone, but just more lapsed Pokemon fans. And I think Gen 7's for the kids.
Yeah.
I'm convinced this one is like the most. They're going after the kids in this one more than, like, I would say, any of the last 4 or 5 Pokemon games.
Pokemon Company said, "Hey, that yokai watch seems popular. Let's do that."
But not in America.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, Gen 6 was basically, please buy a 3DS. Now it's okay. You probably bought a 3DS. Here, have a kids game.
Right. This one feels like more of a kids game than ever. Now, going back to some of the other comments, there's still some other stuff to. Was there anything else I missed from this news?
No, I think we covered most of it. Like I said, we'll have some more next week. Maybe I don't know if it'll be on the show or not, just because of the timing of the trailer. But I think they're just trying to get it ahead of Coral Core on that one.
Let's see what we got. Didn't know we haven't talked about the NX rumors yet. We can talk about that next. Suave 551. Chemical type. Sean McCord suggests that's a pretty good type. What are your teams? Asks Sean McCord. Like, do you have any guys that you need in your team yet?
Right now, I'm probably running some combination of Poplio, Mudsdale, and probably the Guardian of the Island that they've shown off, Tapu Koku.
I haven't given it any thought at all.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they've revealed so many Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Salandit, just because fire poison. It can poison other poison types. That's badass.
Yeah, for me, the ones I really like, I think Litten is definitely a must. For me, it's of the 3, I like Litten's design the best, which is interesting because I don't normally go for the cat Pokemon because I'm more of a dog boy, honestly. The other Pokemon that speaks out to me is the Fighting Bear. The Fighting Bear is my favorite. And Drampasa maybe. Fighting Bear is required. Fighting Bear is
You're going to name it Fighting Bear.
It's one word, all caps.
Yeah.
Even though Pokemon names haven't done all caps in 3 gens, I'm gonna go back to all cap Pokemon names.
I like that grass flying type Hoot Hoot.
Oh, Rowlet.
Yeah.
Rowlet.
Yeah. Oh, so we got one of each starter fan on the show.
We got one. Yeah.
I generally always pick grass, and I always regret it.
Let's see what else we got. Have they reported the pretty much confirmed leaks now? I don't talk about Pokemon leaks on this show. I kind of go out of my way not to, and I don't even read 4chan's VP board anymore because they're doing a pretty good job of releasing way too much information publicly. To the point where, I'm convinced over 70% of the new Pokemon are going to get revealed by the time this game comes out.
Well, this is a generation. I mean, this is one of those TikTok cycles. We're in a tick here where they do a lot of new Pokemon, so that's going to be a lot of Pokemon reveals.
Yeah. We're probably up to about 30, right?
Roughly that, yeah.
Are HMs gone? I don't think so.
God, I wish they would be.
I think they might still show up before you unlock all of the riding Pokemon. Sort of like how, like I said, you had Fly in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and then you got Soaring after like you beat your box legend.
Right.
Beware is Fighting Bear's name. Sean McCord is on my side. He says, "Beware is love, beware is life," and I agree. In fact, I think Beware should have been on the cover of both games. It should have just been Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon with different colors, but just Beware on each of them.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Collects Yoshi. All right. Zachary, I think Omegas are a priority of Game Freak at this time. I gotta go, Alex. Thanks for having me, guys. You're welcome. Collects Yoshi. I think that's just about it for now. I'm just bummed by how many cool things they're revealing about Pokemon Sun and Moon before the games come out. Because it would be great to see Beware for the first time on my own. It would have been great to to just be playing Pokemon Sun and Moon, not know there were Alolan forms, and then when like the shadow is coming into frame, you just see this super fucked up Exeggutor like for the first time. Like that's the way I wanted to experience that, and I know Nintendo's all about the money, which isn't me insulting Nintendo. Like they've said it themselves, like we're a business, like we're not artists. Or like that's the way they see themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like Pokemon is so much about the money now that it's compromising the integrity of the video game at a certain point.
Pokemon's gone corporate. I liked them before they were cool.
Pokemon's been corporate forever, obviously.
Yeah.
Pokemon's been corporate since the first game was popular. That was the moment that Pokemon became corporate. But
It's like, hey, we can make money off this thing. Let's do it.
But to answer your question, Matthew Kelly, what's Gen 7 starter did you want on your team? I'm Litton, Donald's Poplio, and Zachary Miller is
Is this
Rowlet.
considered Gen 7? Because it's still the same
This is
engine.
no, it's not. It's a new engine.
Oh, it is a new engine.
Surprisingly, a new engine.
Oh.
Zach, if you compare the visuals between Gen 6 and Gen 7, you'll be surprised by how much has changed.
Okay.
The camera angles have changed even more. Like, Gen 6 had that thing where, like, camera angles would change dynamically or, like, basically to suit the scene. Gen 7 looks like it's doing that to the next level, and it looks like a full-on 3D JRPG now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only took them 20 years.
And the dividing line for generations is basically if there's new Pokemon in the Pokedex, like completely new Pokemon, then that's your dividing line.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that just about does it. Matthew Kelly asks, which leaked final evolution starter from Sun and Moon do you want to see as a newcomer fighter in the NX title?
I've not seen either one of them.
Bros. I haven't seen any of them either, and I won't see any of them, Matthew Kelly, until the game, until I see a trailer and Nintendo spoils it for me, or until I see it in the game. This could be the gen when they reveal the final evolutions, like, publicly well before release. I think that's a possibility. And I'm super upset about that.
But I don't know how many new Pokemon they have because there is that thing that came out today from a certain British outlet about a Game Freak Pokemon game in the first 6 months of the NX. I
don't believe that for a second.
What a segue, Donald. Yeah. MCV said that there were 3. It was in the first 6 months of the NX's launch. It would be a Pokemon Game Freak game, it would be Zelda, and it would be a new Mario game. New Mario, I think, is going to happen. New Mario, that's not even a leak. That's more just like there will probably be a Mario game in there because they're not going to lead it just with Zelda.
Well, think about this. They didn't have a Mario game at GameCube or Wii or Wii U.
They had the 2D Mario game.
I don't. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Reggie counts it. Reggie counts it.
Reggie counts a lot of things.
Yeah. I think that's going to happen. I think Pokemon Sun and Moon is a pipe dream unless the only possibility is if it's a Sun and Moon port that's revealed when the NX is revealed in September. That's the only way I could see it happening, and even then, that doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense to me.
Or maybe
No.
it's just playable on the NX somehow.
Like backwards compatibility, because
You're right.
I mean, Game Freak is a very conservative company with main series Pokemon. They did a DS game in 2012. I don't,
Right.
and their lead time on adopting new generations of hardware from Nintendo is getting longer each time. Like it was about a year and a half between when the GBA came out and when Ruby and Sapphire did. It was about 2 years between the DS and Diamond and Pearl,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 2.5 years between 3DS and X and Y.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So at this point, we may not. I don't think they'd be crazy enough to do it. Like they would need a Pokemon game out probably within 2 years of the NX launching,
Right.
or whatever the next portable is. But it is entirely possible that we may not see anything from them at their current pace until 2020.
Yeah.
Well, if NX is what everyone says it is, this is going to be the generation where Pokemon gets its console game, and they are going to market the ever-living hell out of it.
Oh, yeah. And they should. I mean, it's what people have wanted for
It's
years.
the console Pokemon game, and they're gonna treat it like it's the Pokemon game that everyone's been asking for. Even though it'll kind of be a similar situation to Reggie saying, "Hey, you wanted a Mario game at launch? Here's Super
Yeah.
Mario U." Like it's gonna be like a 3D-ish Pokemon,
Yeah.
like 3DS-ish Pokemon, but it's gonna be for the NX. I think it won't be like a Super HD Nino Kuni looking motherfucker.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if again, insert NX Siren here, if this thing is some sort of hybrid system or has a way of playing portable games on the TV in some fashion, then I can see Game Freak getting in on it. But just the way that Pokemon plays, especially in Japan, which, like it or not, is still Game Freak's primary market,
Right.
is I still don't think we're ever going to see like a true Pokemon adventure unless Nintendo goes down to a true hybrid system in like 10 years.
You don't think this is going to be you don't think Nintendo's going to go solely to a handheld with a home dock? You don't think that's going to be the case, Donald?
I don't see
they're
it.
not going to have two handhelds.
No.
There's going to be one handheld, whether it's this or something else.
Yeah, I think they take one more swing at the new console, like at a dedicated TV box.
Yeah. If you're right, I don't think so, Donald. I think the leaks are probably legitimate this time. Well, not for Pokemon, but I think the way they're describing the NX, the more I think about it, the more it sounds like that probably is exactly what they were planning on the entire time. Because home console Nintendo, if you actually think about their success rate, the only two ultra successful ones were the NES and the Wii. Like
NES
Super
and
Nintendo
NES.
was on. The SNES was successful, but it wasn't on the same level. I don't think, unless I end
No.
up being ridiculously
No.
wrong. It was like a tier below. But I would say like,
Nintendo's console sales started up here. Super Nintendo was about here, and 64, GameCube, Wii,
Right.
Wii U.
Right. So they've only had like two ultra successful ones and like maybe 3 to potentially 4 generally successful ones. Which is to say that Nintendo's hit and miss on home consoles isn't as great as we probably think it is. It's just when they hit enough to last like 3 generations worth of hits. So I think because the handhelds have been like more of an upward trend, going GBA, which was probably like GameCube-ish. Well, actually, no, it was a little better than that because of Pokemon. But then
the sales curve for Nintendo handhelds is basically Game Boy, GBA, DS, 3DS.
Yeah.
Because of sales.
Is 3DS well below Game Boy?
By about 20 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a little thing called cell phones took away a huge portion of the market that Nintendo had with the Game Boy, to a lesser extent with the GBA, but again with the DS.
Right, but regardless, the standard for this bar of yours is a lot different. Because we're talking like 40, 50 million is down here instead of 10 million, like is
Yeah.
the case with Wii U. Which
Where
means that's like the 3DS is still successful enough that it'd be silly of them not to do another handheld, but since they know that's where the market is, I think they market to the handheld by making it primarily a handheld. Don't forget about the console by having the home base and then giving it the power. Having this console be their attempt at like taking in some of the smartphone audience, like bringing them back to video games, because that's obviously what I think they're doing this time around, and then channeling all of the Nintendo development to this one system. Like I think that's what they're doing with this. I think you disagree with me, Donald.
I'm now granted this was the comment that I'm thinking of happened like 3 years ago, and since then people have died. But
Right.
but
Iwata's death probably didn't like screech any wheels in motion. At
well,
least these wheels.
I mean, if that was the case, don't you think the NX would be coming out this year?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it didn't delay things, but I'm saying the NX that existed before Iwata's death is probably still roughly the same NX that exists after his death, barring whatever progress would have made since then. I mean, Iwata was global president, but he's not the only one in Nintendo.
Yeah.
But what was the comment you're thinking of?
The comment was that they wanted to have more hardware in the wild, not less. Now, whether that's just like new 3DS style iterations on a hybrid, or trying different things with different form factors at different power levels, but the point is they would all run the same games. Like your account would be finally portable, basically.
Okay, so it would almost be like I don't want to say Steambox, but basically one platform with multiple forms.
Like think of a PS4 and PS Vita situation where there's a lot more cross buy. Like it's a standard feature.
Okay, but it would be almost complete. You think it's
And the OS would be the same.
Yeah.
So you're still on two systems: NX handheld, NX.
NX handheld, or I think of basically it's an operating system. Like you have a console and a handheld form factor running the same operating system that might be called NX.
Okay.
But
we'll see, Donald.
We will find out sometime, hopefully by the end of the quarter.
Yes.
I think we'll find out within a month and a half from now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I think that's about it for those NX rumors. Zach, do you have 2 minutes of discussion about Shantae before
Sure.
we move on?
Shantae, in the Pirate's Curse, which is the best Shantae game, is getting a physical release by a company I don't remember the name of.
Rising Star Games.
Rising Star Games.
They're also doing Fast Racing Neo and SteamWorld Heist physical release.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I think I believe they're the guys who did the Bit Trip Saga for 3DS.
Oh, okay.
That is a great collection of video games, by the way.
Well, I'm
I think
excited.
it's like $15. Yeah, go ahead.
Not just because Shantae and Pirate's Curse is getting a physical release, which I'll probably buy, which means triple dipping, but also Shantae Half Genie Hero might come out the same day. So it might be the best Shantae game of all time.
Oh, hey, look, all the Shantae coming out at once.
Yeah. That's September 27th is the date that WayForward is shooting for. That's not a guarantee, but wouldn't it be nice?
So the most recent Shantae games was unique in that it was actually good, right?
Yes. I like the Game Boy Color game.
But
I have mixed feelings about
one.
the second one, but this most recent one is really, really good.
It's genuinely good by any standard, not just your weird Zach WayForward standard.
Yes.
Okay, and you know what I'm talking about too.
I do.
Fan service. But I mean, a lot of people probably got Shantae either on Wii or 3DS in like a humble bundle, because it's gotten down to ludicrously cheap at various points.
Oh yeah.
But this is a chance to throw WayForward some serious coin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna. I'm probably gonna go for the Wii U one instead, assuming it hits the same day.
No, don't do that. Oh, you mean the Half
The
Genie
Half
Hero?
Genie Hero. Yeah, because I already have the game twice anyway.
Yeah, me too. The supposedly in this press release, they said that Pirate's Curse physical will have new content, but they didn't say what it would be.
Yeah, I can.
Uh,
I think I still have the press release. I can forward it to you. But yeah, they did
Yeah.
mention new content.
I'll be interested to see what that means.
Do you think it'll be like a Mega Man Legacy Collection kind of situation?
That would be
where
really
it's-
cool, actually, if they threw in the
Really,
Game Boy
even though
Color
they just
game.
ROM? No, 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 no. You're
Right.
thinking of the wrong thing. I mean, like how there were challenges and they were literally just mini ROM hacks.
Oh Jesus, no! I don't want that. No,
But
that wouldn't even work with Shantae. I don't know how that would work with Shantae.
although it would be nice to really piss off the eBay crowd, the eBay scalper crowd, by putting putting Shantae GBC, even like a download code for it in the box.
Yeah, it would.
Mhm.
Because that
Yeah.
game, I don't know if you know, Alex, but the original Shantae for Game Boy Color routinely goes for over $400 on eBay.
Which is it just because of a low print? Because the game, like I
Low
played.
print run.
No, that makes sense.
It's like the last Game Boy Color game ever made because the Game Boy Advance had been out for over a year.
Oh, so that was like 2002.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can buy it, but you can buy it for what, $5-6 on Virtual
$5 or
Console?
$6 on Virtual Console. That did not bring the price of the physical games down, which is bizarre.
Well, I think they were collector's items from the very beginning. I don't think people were paying
Sure.
$400 to play it. If you wanted to play Shantae, you had plenty of opportunities to do so before like the cartridge is even considered. Anyways, moving on. What we've been playing, Donald. I know me and Zach have something. Did you come in with anything?
No, I've been. Work's been crazy this week, so I've been just too tired to play much of anything.
No. That works to all of our advantage because it means we can end the show slightly earlier. Zach, tell me very quickly about the Style Savvy demo. Is this for the new one or the older one?
New one. It's a demo of the game that comes out soon. I've never played a Style Savvy game, but you may remember that people raved about the last one.
Player One
like,
Podcast.
I feel like I missed the boat. So I downloaded the demo, and it's actually really kind of fun. It has, I dare say, an Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer feel to it.
The excitement went up to here and then went back down here.
But in this case, it appears that the choices you make actually affect how people, rate you. So people come in and say, I want a cute outfit. Here's my cash range. Here's the amount I can spend. Here's basically what I want. And you pick out an outfit for them. You have 3 chances. It appears to make them happy. And if they don't like it, any of them, they leave and you don't get the sale. But you can also have it kind of the same deal with makeup and hair. They give you I want a medium cut with purple highlights, and then you have kind of some range within. There's several kinds of purple. There's several kinds of medium hair. So you have some creativity to make these requests, but it has to fit within a certain range. It's fun. I mean, I'm finding that some of the requests are a little vague for the clothes. Somebody want to say, I want a cute girly outfit. Well, what does that even mean? And then they turn it down.
Right.
You're not really sure why. I think my hope is that the full game gives you more instruction. Because
Well, they can't give it away either. I think you're asking more for like a consistent rule set that
Right.
you can understand, and like there's at least a tiny bit of transparency on the surface, even if it doesn't walk you through every single
Right.
thing.
Right.
Okay.
And it's easier with the makeup because the person will literally, at least in this demo, give you a photograph of the person that they want to look like. They're like, I want to look like Bob here, not Bob because Bob's a man, but I want to look like Belinda. And you
Belinda.
try,
And
Belinda,
out of all
you
the
try and
female
match it to
names that
her.
exist, the first name you came up with was Belinda.
Well, for B, because I'd said Bob. I don't know. I was trying to think of a B.
Well, no, you could be Barbara, but it could be like a
Barbara.
beefier Barbara. So
Yeah,
she calls herself Bob.
I actually have an aunt named Barbara. I should have gone to Barbara, but
Does she call herself Bob?
apparently went to Belinda Carlisle. No, she calls herself Barb.
Mm.
But it's okay. I mean, it's worth the demo certainly, and I think if the full game, includes more, clear consistency with what people want, that's going to be pretty fun.
Sure.
It's super girly, and my wife actually wants to try it, which is bizarre to me, but she's not a gamer at all.
As a boy, go ahead, Donald.
I was going to say this. We do have a review for this game, the European version, up because it came up there last year. So we're a little bit behind on this one, but it's not. They're not charging full price for it. Thank God.
30.
Oh no, how much is it?
It's 30.
Okay. All right.
30 in Canada or 30 in real money?
30 real money, 40 in Canada.
Okay.
If
it'll get a physical release. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, like they didn't say eShop only. I don't think.
Okay, because Rhythm Heaven Megamix should have gotten a physical release and it didn't.
I think the sales of some previous games might disagree with you.
That's probably true.
We have box art for the game. It'll be in stores on August 19th, the same day that the Game of the Year comes out.
For some reason, I thought you
would
would
sell more.
Yeah. I got Devil's Third flashbacks when you said August. That game came out in August last year, right?
In Europe, in Japan, yeah, and well, it did what you pretty much expected it to do, given its quality.
Sure. It's you know what? It's one of those cult classics, like No More Heroes.
Yeah, that's compared to No More Heroes.
Yeah, No More Heroes is a good game.
No More Heroes is an incredible game, but No More Heroes 2 is an even better game. No More Heroes 2 is, I think, one of the best Wii games. But that's one of those little, like, here's an opinion and then me running away from it. But anyways, I'll be slowly reading the chat as I talk. Oh, nothing in the chat, really. Okay, I'll talk about Shin Megami Tensei, Tensei Megami Shin, TMS, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, # Fire Emblem. I opened it up. I opened it up and I played 4 hours today. I got through the initial preview dungeon, and I got to the end of, like, the first real dungeon, but, like, I wasn't able to beat the boss because the game took a weird difficulty spike at that one boss. Donald, is that something that you're familiar with?
I am familiar with difficulty spikes at bosses, although I didn't really have as much trouble with the first true dungeon boss as I did with the second.
Okay, so in not counting the prologue, because I'm on the second boss technically.
Yeah, the boss of the first real dungeon, it was tricky.
The third dungeon. Okay.
The next dungeon you're going to is the one that's probably going to kick your ass unless you do a lot of grinding.
So, okay, because my problem was, one of the things that I was super worried about was how much of a cakewalk the initial hour or two was. Because, like, that was basically warm butter and then just sliding a knife right down on the top and it just cut straight. Like, it was, I would call the difficulty almost pathetic. And I was like, oh, is Nintendo doing a Nintendo on this? But it seems
what difficulty are you playing on?
I'm playing on normal.
Okay. I'm the one who supposedly resides on Easy Street, and I did the first part of the game on hard.
Should I switch my difficulty to hard?
Try it, because a lot of what you're gonna like, that's where because you are playing a Shin Megami Tensei game. At some point, you are going to get screwed, especially one that crosses over with Fire Emblem. It's just how much do you want to take? So I don't know, maybe crank the dungeons up to hard and drop down to normal for the boss or whatever.
No, if I'm gonna do one, I'll do it consistently. I'll jump up to hard, and then after this boss, I'm gonna beat the boss on normal since I did the dungeon on normal, and then I'll switch to hard right after that, and then I'll report back.
Yeah, because a lot of what you unlock with this game is basically because a lot of the side quests unlock enhancements to the battle system, so that even if you're playing on hard, you still have a way of getting out of things.
Sure.
Yeah, it's funny to me that you guys are saying that TMS has these difficulty spikes because I'm pretty far into 7th Dragon, and I don't know if I'm over-leveled or what, but I'm just slaughtering everything in my path, and I'm almost wondering if I'm doing it wrong. I'm enjoying it, but weirdly I'm thinking, is this how you're supposed to play? Am I just super good, or am I over-leveled?
I think you found the right way to play it, Zach, because, I mean, that's...
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to be happy with how you're playing an RPG than to be annoyed by it.
True.
But as for what I actually think of TMS, it is the most anime-ass anime video game I've ever played. Like,
as Guillaume and James have been saying for weeks now.
Anime is happening.
The games have not been more anime than this. And I've played Xenoblade, I've played the Persona games, I've played a lot of Japanese video games that go into Japanese territory. I've played the Fist of the North Star games, which are like strangely great adaptations, the Muso ones. And even though it's not based on an anime, TMS is the most anime video game I've ever played. The plot is structured like an anime. The characters are all anime as hell. There's all this anime horse shit in the plot. It's like the music is anime, and the characters are generic as all anime hell.
Does anyone have amnesia?
Yes. There's a lot of amnesia in this game.
So you can bingo the hell out of this game?
All of the Fire Emblem characters have amnesia.
Nice.
All of them.
Dog, you think you got anime now? Wait till you get to the end.
It's gonna get more anime.
It gets unlimited anime. Like the polar bears to walk in.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's and the story's not great as a result. Like, at least at this point in the game. Like the first red flag so far, and Donald, you might remember this scene when the characters meet their persona, Fire Emblem characters for the first time. It's who's the main character's name? It starts with an I.
Itsuki.
Itsuki. And he's not explained what's going on at all. It's just like it's new to him because he's your eyes through the world, and he just goes like, "Carnage, activate!" And then like the Fire Emblem character comes out, but there's no context given for it whatsoever. Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah. When he meets, I guess his is Chrom. So when he meets Chrom for the first time.
But you know what I'm talking about too. Yeah. How he just goes, "Carnage, activate!" But there's no explanation of what Carnage is.
Instant anime. Just add water.
like it's when their friend was added later, who's the redheaded guy. What's his name?
Toma.
Tomo, it's when he gets added, at least they explain why he knows everything, kind of. But the story, it feels a little generic, but it's in like a fun, light, fluffy anime way. So I'm gonna stick with it a while and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you're gonna. It'll reach points of stupidity, but I think you're gonna love every minute of this.
Okay, so it's gonna get better.
Yeah. Well,
should I? Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I'm worried about is maybe some of those end chapter bosses because they can get pretty BS.
Yeah, it's like every Atlas game and
JRPG Fire
that
Emblem
Nintendo
game.
publishes. Nintendo JRPG that's not Pokemon.
Or Paper Mario.
Well, Paper Mario has its share. It's But yeah, let me just ask you this, Donald. Should I take the game seriously?
Just sit back and let the anime wash over you. It's cheap. In the long run, it's probably cheaper than a Crunchyroll subscription.
Okay. We gotta go. The red light just turned on in the studio. It says we gotta go.
We have reached maximum anime.
We've reached total anime. Thank you for watching. You can look at our Patreon, patreon.com/NWR. We got tons of exclusive stuff on there.
Including a podcast.
We got a podcast. There's also some early articles going up. Mm-hmm.
And Zach and I had the pleasure of recording that Patreon podcast this week, by the way.
Right.
Well, was it good, or was it one of your less good works?
Aside from some early hiccups, which you probably won't hear in the final edit, I think it was a great effort.
It was fun.
Donald came down. It was It was good. I heard it already. It's excellent. I haven't heard it already, but I trust them. I'm sure it's pretty good. Patreon.com/NWR. We got great podcasts because Zach and Donald are on it, so I already know it's great, but we also have plenty of early and exclusive content. You can also go to NintendoWorldReport.com, Nintendo World Report TV on YouTube. Zachary Miller is at ZMiller1902. Donald Mick on Twitter, DONALDMICK at Donald Mick. That's Donald Terrio. Also at NFR Podcast for Nintendo Free Radio. I'm Alex Kulafia at CULAFIA Kulafia. That's our show. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Pose for the fans.